Liberty! To understand the food of our present, we must first understand the food of our past.
That's why we're recreating some of the most notable meals throughout history, and today we are going back in time to Washington, D.C., where hundreds of people gorged themselves at a 250-foot buffet.
Ah, yes, the time my debate team went to nationals and then we celebrated at the Golden Corral.
No, we're talking about Abraham Lincoln's second inauguration dinner.
Oh. Well, I guess it's time for...
Meals of History! All right, today we're going back to March 6, 1865, where there were over 4,000 guests in attendance, and the New York Times actually wrote that since dinner was served so late and it was so disorganized that people were hoisting trays above the masses and they were slopping jellies and consommes along the way to bring back to their friends, and that the floor was so sticky with the spilled residue of fowl and game and meat and pastry that you could hear the shoes unsticking from the pavement.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, so the menu is actually really interesting. So you see a lot of it leans French, which like most things in the 19th century were leaning French, especially as America tried to find its own identity, but there are some really interesting things on here. And the menu is actually created by a pastry chef who didn't have a lot of savory experience. So you even see some like spelling mistakes on some of the savory dishes, which I think is hilarious. But one of the most interesting things here, it is called terrapin on the menu, but we think it was actually mock turtle soup.
Oh, no.
There's no real turtle. No real turtles were harmed in the making of this. It's fake turtle soup, but we're gonna try and recreate the taste of real turtle.
I could see the comment section now.
And then
turtle murderers.
Koopa Troopa, who cares about him? So another really interesting thing, we have smoked tongue en gelée. Back then, like Jello molds, right, were a super new thing, and that was a very common way to serve savory dishes that we don't have a lot of today. So I want to get weird with some smoked tongue and Jello.
You just glazed over the tongue part. You didn't say what kind of tongue. It could be any tongue.
Oh, it's gonna be any tongue. Since I'm the chef, do you think you could be the guest of honor?
Oh, for score I can.
For
You see what I did there?
for score, dude.
Hello, strapping beefcake man.
God, I feel like you're about to dunk on me.
Who are you? And why don't you have sleeves? Have the American people run out of sleeves?
Yes, that happens. The great sleeve shortage of 19. That's not the point. Abraham, thank you so much for joining me. Right now, we're making the smoked tongue en gelée, which, from my understanding, you don't care about at all because you like kind of hardly eat. Why?
I'm very busy, man, okay?
Today we are here to celebrate you, and what better way to celebrate than smoking this whole ox tongue and then putting it inside a gelatin mold?
So this is the attempt to get me to eat food.
Yes, just trying to trick you into putting some nutrients into your body. We gotta start making this. So I'm just gonna take a quart of water and we're gonna pour that into our stock pot, and then we have to add, this is a mixture of Madeira and sherry, which again, from what I understand, you don't enjoy liquor, you don't enjoy food, you eat like an apple and some bacon and you're good. What gives you pleasure?
Oh, no one's ever asked me that.
You ever asked Mary Todd that question?
Oh, Josh.
Sorry, now I'm imagining them and I'm like, oh, that's weird. I don't even know what she looked like.
Listen, I've thought about Abraham Lincoln sexually before. I'm not gonna lie.
At least you're a big enough person to admit it. Girls just want a guy who's tall. He wasn't actually hot. He was just like, he was a good dude and he was 6'6".
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, so I'm throwing some onions into, we got the Madeira, we got the sherry, we got water. We're throwing in onions in there. The onions are actually gonna go into the Jello mold as well, but they're also gonna like flavor and perfume everything. I'm gonna drop some carrots in there. Again, this is like a super old-timey dish. This type of stuff, they used the whole animal back then because they didn't have like commercial farm production. Yeah, so these are the actual taste buds of the ox tongue. If you want to kind of hold it and
you
flap
don't
it
have
around.
to tell me. Oh my God, the stain.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the stank, because there is some
No,
stank
I
on
don't
it.
want to sniff it.
Put it! Now sniff it! Sniff the tongue!
No.
Yeah, it's not too great. So
God.
this is the frenulum, the lingual frenulum, because there's two frenulums in the body. I learned after a cursory Google search. So this is all like, connective tissue. There's a little bit of blood, and then we got all the taste buds on here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna dump that into the pot. We're gonna let that boil away. Get some more aromatics in there. We got bay leaves. We got some thyme, and then we are just going to douse this in salt. We gotta let this boil. We gotta let it simmer. We gotta let that tongue get nice and tender, right? Because I imagine like the dental care back in your day wasn't great, so you kind of just had to gum down this Jello meat.
Yeah, it's really weird looking at you from up here.
I don't like this. I feel intimidated.
It feels really weird.
Strong women don't intimidate me, but
Tall women apparently do.
Tall women, yeah. So I'm gonna take a lid and we're just gonna pop this on there. We're gonna let this cook for about 2-3 hours until it's tender, and then we're gonna take it out, strip it of its taste buds, and then we're gonna pop it in the oven, do a little oven smoke on it.
Okay, that sounds like the only way this will be good.
Yes, I love that you think it's gonna be good. There's no way.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
Gross.
it sounded like your description that people were like excited to bring it out to their friends and it was gonna be a good thing, so I'm going with it,
They
man.
were, but people back then were just like gross. They were just eating just tongues and bull like they ate people, you know what I'm saying?
What did you
I don't
just
know
say?
when was the Donner Party? Was that you?
I think it was. I think Mary Todd Lincoln actually knew the people in the Donner Party. Fact check that for me. Where's Annalise?
Someone Snopes it. You Snopes it. That's a verb now. We're Snopesing it. It sounds dirty. All right, so we're gonna let this boil for a couple hours, get nice and tender, and then we gotta strain everything off, and then we're gonna smoke it.
How do my ears look?
Chafed. Chafed. That beard is hanging 3
I
inches
tucked
off.
them up in here because otherwise it would be like this.
The red hair coming through that hat just makes you look like a giant leprechaun.
Leprechaun.
Like there was like someone was like, yeah, you know, leprechauns have a height difference, and you're like, I assume that means they're taller.
I feel like I just look like Fran Lebowitz. Like this is, and no one knows who that is but me, apparently.
All right, so this giant ox tongue has been cooking for about 3 hours. So now we're gonna take it out. Why am I using tongs like that? No, come on. I'm just
Don't use your hands, dude.
Why?
Because you're gonna burn
I'm
yourself.
not gonna burn myself. I'm tough. I'm tough. Okay, that is hot. And we're gonna put that directly in the ice bath. It is just
Wow.
gonna kind of stick out like a phallus from an ice bath. That's why we're seeing a little bit of shrinkage
There's like
here.
fat.
What?
Nothing.
Yeah. So you're seeing a lot of fat. That's a lot of that connective tissue on that lingual frenulum that we were talking about. And so we can either trim that out, or I mean, I feel like since again people were just like super gross, eating people back in your time. Like no offense. I have nothing but respect for what you did.
He didn't eat people. We were just talking about this.
Yeah.
Lincoln almost joined the Donner Party.
What stopped him/you?
He had a toddler.
He was like, I can't join your cannibal party because I got a kid.
He was a hashtag
All his-
brave dad who actually hung out with his kid. Oh, so impressive.
That's why friends with kids are the worst. Morgan, sorry, you suck. Morgan has a kid. This is the joke.
cutest kid.
He's the cutest kid, Morgan. I'm sorry
Yeah,
for your
yeah.
father. So we're gonna take this tongue out again. We have to smoke this. So you see it's still got, just feel that. Just like rub your hands along it.
Hate this.
Abraham, feel the tongue!
Yes, I will feel the tongue for you.
It's very presidential of you.
I've kissed babies. I can feel a tongue.
Gosh.
God, that's hard.
All right, so I'm gonna take it. I'm just gonna try and make like a small incision with the knife just to give me a sort of starting point, because you gotta then get the skin off.
Good night.
Yeah, there we go. And you're just
No,
gonna rip the skin off piece
No,
by piece.
it's
Hold on, I'm gonna get a
stinky.
knife under there. Yeah, it doesn't smell great. I'm kind of ripping through the whole tongue. That's not great. I'm probably just gonna use a knife.
Oh yeah.
That's probably a good idea, huh? I kind of imagine that like every person back in the 1800s had to be ready to like kill a bear. Was that like part of your skill set?
Well, you know, Lincoln was actually a really good fighter. He had a very large reach. I do know one thing. He almost had a duel with someone with a sword.
I think casual violence is bad, but I also think that duels are really cool. So we got just this kind of mangled ox tongue here.
There's nothing
What?
to compare this to.
No, no, this is brutal.
Look at this. Hang on.
Just kind of grab it.
Hang on. I did not die in vain.
We need to like watch the same movies before we shoot together, because I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's the Gettysburg Address.
Oh, I'm just an idiot then. All right, so we have our soaked applewood chips. We have our skinned tongue. That's so the smoke can penetrate it more. So I'm just gonna tent the tongue with foil, and then that is gonna trap all the smoke in there, and it should perfume the tongue to flavor our meat jello.
All right.
Alrighty. All right, so we got the tongue out of the oven, and we got this pot that won't stop clattering around.
It's Abraham Lincoln's ghost.
Ooh!
Oh, I like your pot. I like your pot so much. Why did you pick this pot?
You're like, it's like the least interesting thing for a ghost to possibly inhabit. So we got the tongue out of the oven. Smells nice and woody.
I am
Smell
not
the tongue! Abraham Lincoln, smell my tongue. It's kind of nice, right?
Smells a lot better than people probably smelled.
All right, I'm gonna chop up this tongue.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's kind of gonna fly around a little bit. Abe, you gotta watch. I want you to watch.
I detest violence.
We gotta chop up some vegetables as well, because we have these onions, we have these carrots in here. These have been kind of braising alongside with that, and we want some nice veggies in
Whoa,
there.
okay.
And Abe, I need you to do a very important job for me. Scoop all that gelatin in there and then whisk it.
Haunted pot, haunted pot, haunted pot.
I need a bigger cutting
pot.
board. Half this is going on the floor. Be cool about it.
Hang on, here's what I'm gonna
Use
do.
your hands. Why are you using utensils? Yeah, there it is. That's great.
It's a butt.
It's a
All right, here we go.
Yeah, toss it in there and then like really whisk it around. That's gonna dissolve. And while you're
Okay.
doing that, I'm gonna take the tongue and I'm gonna arrange that around our bunt mold. So I'm gonna kind of alternate with layers of tongue and veggie. What was your duel about? How'd you almost get in a duel?
Ooh, I was in a duel with a sword because I got to choose the weapon, but I was so tall and long that I intimidated the man I was dueling by swatting at a tree that was real high up.
You just like proved your reach with a sword.
Whack, whack! And then he was like, oh no.
All right, so I'm gonna take, yeah, it smells like wet dog. That's what gelatin smells like. And so we're gonna take that and we're just gonna pour it all around our mold. Probably get some on the floor, that's totally cool. I wanna fill it to the top.
So wait, we're making meat Jello, like a tongue Jello?
Yeah. So it's gonna be a whole Jello mold in this nice ornate bunt pan. And it's got all the tongue in it, and then we're gonna slice it, and then we gotta eat it.
Okay, 1860, whatever you say.
Congrats on being president again.
Yeah.
Here's some tongue Jello.
Man.
Now we're making the mock turtle soup. On the menu, it just said terrapin, and actual turtle soup was big in like colonial times, 1600s, but I think by the time
Why?
there were a bunch of like starving idiot colonizers who didn't know what
I
to
have
eat.
never seen enough turtles to think, let's make food out of this.
You have Burger King. The colonial people didn't have Burger King. So we're gonna put some butter in there. Anyways, the different parts of the turtle have the textures of different meat products. And so mock turtle soup, which was getting into fashion around Lincoln's time, actually had calves brains, which is what we have here. And then also sweetbreads, which is the thymus gland of a cow. And then we have a little bit of minced beef cheek. And then it'll all come together to taste like turtle. Y'all were gross back then. You're just eating Jello tongue and turtle meat.
I'm so sorry.
So we're browning some butter and we're gonna add our classic mirepoix. Again, like everything is French influenced. So we got the onion, we got the carrot, we got the celery, and then I'm also gonna add some peppercorns to toast up in there. And then we're just gonna give that a stir, let that work, and then we're gonna add some flour to create the roux. You a big fan of calf's brains?
You know, I like brains. You've got brains, I've got brains. America has brains.
This isn't a political stump speech. You've already been elected for the second term.
I know, but it's hard to just let go of that, you know.
But I mean, it sounds like you survived a lot. Like you won all these wrestling matches, you know, you kind of
Only lost one wrestling match out of 300.
And you keep talking about it. You survived a duel. It just sounds like you shouldn't be afraid of anything.
Well, as long as a man's in front of me.
Yeah, but you're not great if someone like gets behind you, right? So like if
No.
I'm here, like you're not,
I can't see anything.
you can't just turn your head.
I can't, well, I got a stiff neck. I'd have to be like, hold on, sir. Back away.
All right, so we have all of our organ meats, all of our fake turtle completely hacked up. We have our butter going with all of our veggies. Now I'm gonna toss some flour into there. So this is called a roux. This is what's used to thicken up the soup. So the flour is actually gonna toast, and we wanna get a kind of dark toast on it because we want this to be a pretty ruddy brown color. Do you have any questions about the future?
I have hopes for the future.
What are your hopes for the future?
I hope that one day we can find a way to put meat in a tube and then bread around it.
I thought it'd be something like like unity. So you were in a time of
Oh,
civil
right.
war.
You meant like about my job as a president of the United States.
But I think you just invented the corn dog.
We don't eat dogs in America. I wish letters could go faster.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I just think that I wish there was like a way for me to go, hey, we should stop doing this thing. And then I could just tell somebody and then they could do it immediately. But
Yeah, like a
Instead-
communication, but quickly.
yeah, I gotta
Okay.
send a sweaty boy with a piece
You
of
want to
paper.
eliminate sweaty boys from the mail system.
I hoped that less boys sweat.
I'm delighted to tell you about Axe body spray. You're gonna
I
learn.
love axes.
All right, so we got the broth going. I'm just gonna take our cheek meat, gonna add the cheek meat.
I've never heard of cheek
Oh,
meat.
beef cheek's good. And then we're gonna add all of this slop, and then all these organ meats are actually going to release a lot of juices inside the soup. And it should be lovely. I mean, what about this doesn't look lovely?
Well, I think knowing what it is
Yeah.
tough, but like actually it smells really good.
It really does.
And I'm kind of into it. I don't care.
All right, so we're just gonna let that boil down for a couple hours, and we're gonna come back to it, and we're gonna plate it up, hit it with a little bit of garnish.
Okay.
Has your fly been down this whole time?
Is it showing?
Yeah, a little bit.
The pants are too tight.
You got a little bit of presidential spillage going on.
Listen, Abraham Lincoln for this purpose is thick.
I like my Abraham
Thick
Lincoln.
Lincoln.
Like I like my mock turtle soups, thick. Speaking of which, look at that thickness. So it reduced it down a lot, and then a lot of those juices from the organ meats emulsified with all the butter and flour. Got this really gorgeous color on it. It looks really good, and we're gonna finish it with a little bit of raw sherry. That's a cooking wine coming from Spain. And then we're just gonna give that a nice stir. So we're gonna ladle this up, and then we're gonna hit it with a couple garnishes that were very popular. Chopped eggs, a little bit of parsley.
God, what is with the chopped eggs? In our Titanic video, there was also chopped eggs.
They like, old people love eating chopped eggs. That's the thing that I know. My Nana, she loves chopped eggs. You'd love chopped eggs, you're old.
Well, that's true, I am old. But I also, speaking of old, this is a crazy thing. My birthday, April 14th, is the day Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. It's also the day the Titanic hit the iceberg.
What?
Yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't believe in crystals or the universe. Well,
Yeah,
I believe the universe exists.
Crystals work though, too.
But something about that's weird to me.
All right, so we have all of this mock turtle soup, and now we're just gonna take some nice garnish of chopped eggs, just float our chopped eggs on top.
They're gonna be so excited when they find out about cheese.
They
In the
definitely had
1860s.
cheese. They had a lot of cheese.
You put
probably.
cheese on the chili, y'all. You're
drop-
putting a lemon in there?
Yeah, we got a little bit of lemon on there. It's gonna perfume it. We're gonna get some parsley, and boom, there is our mock turtle soup.
It is
Wow.
pretty.
It
I
is
feel
pretty.
like this is similar to my hair color.
Yeah, you have a mock turtle soup there.
I come into the hairdresser and I go, give me chili hair.
All right, so now we have to take this, wonderful Jello
Wow.
mold. Give it
Can I poke?
give it a flick. Bouncy, huh?
Oh my God.
So we're gonna take that, and then a way to dislodge a Jello mold. Blowtorch.
Oh boy.
That's a fun thing. We're just gonna go ahead, and the goal now is, right now this is all stuck to the pan, but gelatin, right when it's warm, it'll melt. So a way to dislodge it is you can just blowtorch the pan. It should warm it up a little bit and get the gelatin just to unstick enough.
I really think that Abraham Lincoln would like this.
Does Abraham Lincoln want to play with fire? Press the button, keep the flame away from my face.
I'm honored.
What could go wrong?
Liberty!
Abundanza! Wowzers! That looks great.
This is the most beautiful, ugly thing I've ever seen.
This is unreasonable looking. You can see the veins in the tongue poking through the Jello. That's pretty exciting for me.
This smells like Fancy Feast.
This is Fancy Feast. This is just cat food before it's been blended. All right, so we got our mock turtle soup. That looks absolutely gorgeous. We got this. That is one of the most horrifyingly grotesque foods I've ever seen.
No, wow. It's just all the same color.
So this is all the same color, but we actually have some more really beautiful stuff because again, the caterer for this event was a pastry chef himself. So we're gonna head down to the patent office, and I got some more feast waiting for you.
Ooh, a patent office.
Yes.
Sexy.
It's the sexiest building in all of DC.
Sexy place
Walt Whitman said
To
that.
eat gelatin.
Hey, welcome to your inauguration feast. So we have our smoked tongue Angélé, and we have our mock turtle soup there, but we also got some other things. Meat was a big part of it, so we got a big old giant smoked Virginia country ham. We got some giant smoked turkey legs. We got smoked and pickled oysters. We got lobster salad served in the shell. I hope you're as excited as I am.
I'm very excited.
All right, let's dig in to this meat Jello.
Oh, yes.
So I'm just gonna go in and cut you a nice slice.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely, I believe I got it. There we go.
Oh, God.
So you can kind of stand it up, and you see a lot of that tongue. There's no escaping it, but we still got a fair amount of Jello as well. I'm gonna just try and isolate some of that tongue
Should
here.
we say grace?
Yeah, you got this one.
All right.
I'm Jewish.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this bounty of meat and gelatin. May our bellies be full and our hearts be strong. Thank you very much, amen.
Hey, man. All right, let's, woof. Feel like you're stalling. All right, we'll rip through it. I'm not having a bad time. That's actually kind of good. The Jello's
good.
It's not something that I would like to eat at every celebratory feast that I have, but
No.
the tongue's really flavorful. You get like a little bit of that Madeira and sherry in there. It's nice and aromatic. The Jello's salty as you want. I'm not mad about that. I'm not gonna take another bite, but I'm not mad about it.
Boy, I cannot break down this meat.
Just swallow, don't chew anymore.
No?
Let it slide down.
Okay.
Let the tongue slide down the throat.
It's like a pill. I think I feel like I need a glass of water. That's like swallowing a big old omega-3.
Wash it down. Wash it down. You had those back then, huh?
Oh yeah, we love omega-3.
Wash it down with some of this mock turtle soup.
I'm gonna
So
flick this off my fork.
I'm
Okay.
gonna get a nice big chunk. I believe that's calf's brain, and then I'm gonna get some of the egg with it.
Yep.
It's like chili.
It has that fattiness and tomatoiness and the meatiness of chili, but then with all the organ meats in there, you get this kind of deeply weird,
You had to
bitter
say
funk.
organ meats, huh?
Yeah, because it's almost like think about the bitterness in your mouth right now.
Uh-huh.
It's almost this kind of bile funk in a way. It's as if someone threw up Hormel chili back into the can, reheated it, dumped it out.
It's my inauguration.
It's not bad. It's really interesting. I like the texture of the organ meats in the soup.
I honestly kind of like the tongue more.
Have some more tongue.
No, I must save room.
Let's dig in. Eat some lobster.
Ooh!
So this was another big thing. Always took the shellfish, served it right in the shell. Lobster mixed with a little bit of mayonnaise. I think it's gonna be delicious.
Boy, this feels like it would be good on, I don't know, some kind of bread. Why is there no bread?
Rations. There's a war going on.
Well, sir, I never got your name.
Carl,
Carl.
for today.
Carl, for today, very nice to meet you, and thank you for sharing this very important meal with me on my inauguration. But I must be going. My wife bought us tickets to the theater. She got me these little glasses. Aren't these cute?
Those are certainly cute, but I have some that might be a little bit more helpful for you, I think. Try them on.
They look a little dark. I don't know if I'll see.
You'll see.
Oh, there's mirrors in these. I can see behind me.
Yeah.
There's nothing there, as there usually is nothing there. Nothing ever behind me.
You're not gonna use them, huh?
No, I think I'm fine. I want to focus on the play, you know.
Best of luck to you at your play. Surely nothing will happen. Thank you so much for helping me with today. And thank you so much for stopping by the Mythical Kitchen. We got new cooking episodes out every week. We got new episodes of our podcast, A Hot Dog is a Sandwich, every Wednesday, wherever you get your podcasts. Hit us up on Instagram at Mythical Kitchen with pictures of your mythical dishes. And don't go see plays. They're dangerous.
Who are you talking to?
There's people in that little dark hole.
Oh, whole people.
Wave to the whole people.
Goodbye, American whole people.
My favorite hat can now be your favorite hat, so get the Mythical Trucker hat at mythical.com.